I found the Airbnb my husband booked. Then I found the wedding I was not invited to. My husband, Trevor, told me he needed a quiet weekend away to think about our marriage. We had been fighting for months, mostly because money kept disappearing from our joint account, and he kept saying I was too anxious to understand adult budgeting. He said therapy would only work if I stopped treating him like a suspect. The Airbnb email came to my inbox by accident because our accounts were still linked from a vacation 2 years earlier. The subject line said, "Your lake house check-in instructions." I almost archived it, thinking it was spam, until I saw the dates. The weekend Trevor said he needed space. The guest count was 26. 26 people is not a thinking weekend. I opened the receipt and saw a cleaning fee, a catering deposit, and a note to the host that said, "Small, private ceremony in backyard. No loud music after 10. My hands went cold before my brain caught up. Ceremony, backyard, 26 people. At first, I thought maybe he was planning a surprise vow renewal. I wanted that lie so badly I almost let myself believe it. Then I clicked the guest message thread. The host asked, "Is the bride still bringing the floral arch?" Trevor replied, "Yes, Marissa has it handled." My name is not Marissa. I did not confront him. I screenshotted everything, then checked our joint account. $4,000 had gone to event rentals, another $1,200 to a photographer. The memo said business supplies because Trevor knew I never questioned work expenses. The next morning, I called the Airbnb host and said I was confirming details for Trevor's ceremony. She cheerfully told me the backyard was perfect for intimate weddings and that Marissa had already asked where to put the champagne wall. Champagne wall. That was when I stopped shaking. I found Marissa through the rental company invoice. She was a yoga instructor with a public page full of soft launch photos. In one, Trevor's hand was on her waist. In another, she wore my emerald earrings, the ones he said he accidentally knocked down the bathroom drain. I messaged her one sentence. "I am Trevor's wife." She called me 5 minutes later, crying so hard I could barely understand her. Trevor told her I was his ex-wife who refused to sign final papers. He told her the joint account was settlement money. He told her our house was only still in my name because I was financially unstable. Then she said something that made me sit down on the floor. His mother is officiating. His mother had been having Sunday dinner at my house every week while planning his backyard wedding to another woman. She praised my cooking, asked about my fertility appointments, and then went home to write vows for my replacement. Marissa and I compared notes for 3 hours. She had invitations, I had bank statements. She had dress fittings, I had messages where Trevor told me we needed to pause trying for a baby because he was stressed. She had a seating chart that included his mother, his brother, 2 cousins, and his best friend. My seat did not exist. So we made one. On the day of the wedding, Trevor kissed my forehead and told me he was driving to the cabin to clear his head. He said he hoped I use the weekend to reflect on how my mistrust was damaging us. I smiled and told him to take all the time he needed. Then I put on a black jumpsuit, packed a folder, and drove to the lake house. Marissa met me behind the garage wearing a white dress and sneakers. She looked furious now, not sad. That is an important difference. Sad women get dismissed. Furious women bring receipts. The ceremony was set up exactly like the photos. White chairs, floral arch, champagne wall. Trevor's mother stood at the front holding a little book like she was about to bless the crime scene. Guests were sipping drinks from glasses paid for by my paycheck. When the music started, Marissa walked down the aisle alone. Trevor smiled, like he had won. Then she stopped halfway and turned around. I walked in behind her. The guests went silent in layers. First, his brother. Then his best friend. Then his mother, whose face tightened like she had bitten glass. Trevor whispered, "What are you doing here?" I said, "Attending the ceremony I paid for." Marissa took the microphone from the DJ and said, "Before I marry anyone, I would like the legal wife to explain the budget." I opened the folder. Page 1 was the Airbnb receipt from our joint account. Page 2 was the catering deposit. Page 3 was the photographer invoice. Page 4 was the message where Trevor told me he needed a weekend alone to think. Page 5 was the photo of Marissa wearing my emerald earrings. His mother interrupted and said, "This is not the time." I said, "You are officiating your married son's second wedding. When is the time?" That was the peak, because his mother did not deny it. She said, "You two were already broken." The whole backyard heard her admit she knew. Trevor tried to grab the microphone, but Marissa stepped back and said, "Touch me and I will post everything." Then she turned to the guests and said, "I was told his divorce was final. It is not." His best friend stood up and left first. Then his brother. Then one cousin whispered, "Mom, how could you?" and followed them out. The champagne walls started dripping in the heat, while Trevor stood under the floral arch with no bride and no audience. The final twist came from the Airbnb host. She walked over, holding her tablet, and asked who would be paying the additional event fee because the booking agreement said no undisclosed weddings. Trevor pointed at me and said I handled finances. I laughed so loudly a bird flew out of the tree. Then I showed the host my fraud report. I had already filed one with the bank for the wedding charges. The card was frozen that morning. Trevor's face changed when he realized the reception balance would not clear. Marissa took off the emerald earrings and put them in my palm. She said, "I am sorry I wore something he stole." I believed her. Trevor followed me to my car, begging me not to ruin his life. I told him I did not ruin it. I just followed the cleaning fee. By Monday, the video Marissa posted had reached his office. His company opened an investigation because some of the business supplies were reimbursed. His mother left me a voicemail saying family mistakes should not become public entertainment. I saved it under a contact named Officiant. I filed for divorce that week. In court, the Airbnb receipt became Exhibit B. Exhibit A was our marriage certificate. I kept the house, sold the emerald earrings, and used the money to take the quiet weekend Trevor said he needed. Except mine had one guest, one bed, and 0 fake ceremonies. But the story did not end at the lake house. 3 days later, Trevor's mother came to my door with a casserole, like this was a misunderstanding that could be baked away. She said she loved me like a daughter, but Marissa is a better fit for the next chapter. I asked if she meant the chapter where her son committed fraud. She put the casserole on my porch and said, "A wife protects her husband." That was her second mistake. I sent her voicemail, the Airbnb video, and the reimbursement records to my lawyer. Then I sent one polite message to every vendor from the fake wedding. Please direct all remaining balances to Trevor and his officiant. The florist replied with a heart emoji. The caterer replied, already did. The best revenge came 2 weeks later. Trevor tried to tell the judge I had ambushed him because I was jealous. My lawyer played the clip of his mother saying I was not invited because I was the old problem. Then Marissa walked in as a witness, wearing the white suit she never got to wear for herself. Trevor stared at the floor the entire time. The judge ordered him to repay the joint account, return every stolen item, and cover my legal fees from the wedding funds he misused. His mother stopped leaving voicemails after my lawyer asked if she wanted to be added to the fraud complaint. I never got the apology I wanted. I got something better. Peace with paperwork. He booked an Airbnb for his other wedding. I showed up with the bride, the receipts, the bill, and the one thing he never planned for, both women telling the truth at the same time.